Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we're doing something a little bit unusual. We're actually diving into, well, the deep end of corporate chaos, you could say.
Yeah, that's right. Our source material today is actually a transcript. It's from a fictional, high-pressure sales meeting.
Exactly. But we're not just, reading a script. We're using this scenario, which feels pretty intense, as a kind of shortcut. A
Hmm.
shortcut to unpack some high-stakes sales strategies, maybe reveal some fundamental leadership flaws, and definitely pull out some essential business language, the kind you need to sound, well, like you belong in the C-suite.
Absolutely, and you're thrown right into it. I mean, the situation is a pressure cooker, sales are lagging, the managers demanding concrete solutions.
Right. Specific fixes, actionable stuff.
They need them immediately, like right now.
Yeah.
The clock's ticking because the CEO, this Mr. Swan character, is expected any minute.
Any minute. Talk about pressure. And what's the root cause? What sparked this whole emergency?
Well, they're facing this really tough strategic spot. They are, and I quote, the most expensive in the market.
Oof. That's the core crisis right there. So
Right.
their mission basically is to figure out how to drive sales, get more volume moving without completely tanking their premium image.
That's the tightrope they have to walk.
Right.
So, okay, when you're the priciest option out there, the immediate reaction, that sort of knee-jerk thing, it's always drop the price.
Right.
And that's exactly what the first guy, Roger, suggests. He proposes they match the competitor's lowest price.
Okay, so on the surface, that sounds like, well, a direct answer to a price problem, doesn't it? Price is high, make price low.
It does.
But you're sort of raising a flag here, I sense. What's the real danger? Going straight for price matching when your whole identity is built on being premium.
Oh, the risk is enormous. Look, price matching isn't just a tactic, it's a permanent structural decision, really.
Mm.
It basically forces you into this race to the bottom. Your profit margins get squeezed probably forever.
Yeah.
And the original dialogue actually nails this perfectly. It asks the key counterpoint. Is it even possible to match those lower prices and still keep our quality high?
That's the classic tension, isn't it? Quality versus price. Once you signal, hey, our quality is actually worth less, it's incredibly hard to climb back up to that premium perch.
Exactly. And before they can even really dig into that long-term risk, Natalie jumps in. She has a second option.
Mm.
Implement a promotion.
Ah, okay. So not changing the list price, but a temporary deal.
Precisely. She specifically suggests a 2-for-1 offer. And this is really crucial because it highlights the difference between two fundamentally distinct strategies. Roger was talking price restructuring.
A permanent change.
Yeah. Natalie's talking about a short-term volume lever. Something you pull, then let go.
Okay, so the promotion, like the 2-for-1, it's designed to be temporary, like a quick boost to get more competitive, maybe clear out some inventory.
That's generally the idea. You're pushing volume, using it as a limited time thing. It's not supposed to redefine your whole market position like permanent price matching does.
Got it. One changes your identity, the other's more like a short-term tactic.
Exactly. A price match basically says, hey, we're cheaper now and probably forever. A 2-for-1 says, get this deal for the next month or so. One's a brand commitment, the other's,
Yeah.
well, it's a maneuver. Managing cash flow, hitting quarterly targets, that kind of thing.
Okay, so two very distinct, specific, concrete solutions right there on the table.
Yep.
But this is where the strategy talk kind of hits a wall, right? And the leadership issues start showing up. The manager, Clark, he just shuts them both down instantly.
He does. He calls Roger's idea not very creative.
Well,
Ouch.
yeah. And Natalie's promotion, he dismisses it as a bad idea, really bad idea, just like that.
And that quick, kind of aggressive dismissal,
Mhm.
it brings us right to our first language lesson here. The idioms of corporate rejection.
Ah, okay.
Clark immediately tells Roger his plan to lower prices.
Yeah.
He says, it'll never fly with Swan. Swan being
Huh.
the CEO.
It'll never fly. That's such a classic corporate phrase, isn't it? It's like shorthand.
Oh.
It doesn't necessarily mean the idea itself is terrible, more like it won't get approved upstairs. Or maybe it's just too risky for right now.
Exactly. It's about feasibility within the organization's politics or risk tolerance. The scenario gives some great examples, like trying to sell bikinis in Alaska.
Right, that'll never fly. Or a proposal that's just too expensive.
Yeah. It's an instant veto, basically. Very authoritative sounding.
And that's the strange thing about Clark, the manager, isn't it? He demanded concrete solutions, these real specific plans.
Mm.
Yet when he gets two concrete ideas, he uses this like abstract rejection language to kill them before they even get off the
He's
ground.
basically micromanaging the creativity right out of the room. It feels like he's more worried about covering himself than finding a solution.
Yeah, prioritizing his own risk aversion over what the company actually needs. Which brings us to maybe a smaller point, but a useful language upgrade you often hear in these kinds of talks.
Oh, yeah.
When they're discussing strategy, the language naturally gets a bit more polished.
Right. Instead of just saying, oh, we should think about this idea, the more professional way, the standard, is often to say, this sounds like something we should consider.
Ah, using consider. It just sounds a bit smarter, doesn't it? More formal. It elevates it from just chatting to like actual strategic deliberation.
It does. But Clark, well, he wasn't really interested in considering anything, was he?
Not really, not until the whole power dynamic in the room shifted dramatically. Okay, so this is where the human drama really kicks in. Just as Clark is basically crushing everyone's spirit,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Swan, the CEO, walks in right on cue, fulfilling that be here any minute prediction.
Perfect timing.
Clark then kind of hesitantly summarizes Natalie's 2-for-1 idea for the CEO.
And boom, the whole dynamic just flips instantly. Mr. Swan listens and says, I kind of like the sound of that. It sounds like something we should consider.
Wow. That moment right there is pure gold if you want to understand office politics, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The idea itself didn't change one bit, nothing. Only the person expressing approval changed.
Cue the fastest U-turn in corporate history. Clark immediately jumps in, almost shouting, "That's just what I was thinking. In fact, it's a brilliant idea. I'm glad we thought of that. Very creative."
He literally went from bad idea, really bad idea, to brilliant idea in like half a second.
It's almost comical, but it really shows his insecurity, right?
Laid completely bare.
Yeah.
Clark wasn't rejecting the strategies because they were bad strategies. He was rejecting them because he was afraid of presenting something Mr. Swan might shoot down.
So his first reaction when Swan approves is, claim the credit.
Immediately. It shows his priority is totally self-protection, not actually solving the company's problem.
Yeah, the dialogue itself calls Clark a terrible person to work for. And you can see why. Cutting people off, using discouraging lines like, what kind of thinking is that? Creating this atmosphere where the team is basically scared of talking.
And think about the impact of that.
Yeah.
That behavior directly undermines the core mission. They need to drive sales, right?
Yeah.
But a good manager, their most important job, really, is to motivate, encourage, and help support their people. Help them grow. Clark does the opposite. He actively suppresses motivation. He encourages silence.
So he's crippling the very innovation they need to fix their sales problem.
Exactly. It's completely counterproductive.
There's that contrast in the source material, isn't there,
Yeah.
with the anecdote about a really great manager?
Oh, yeah, the amazing general manager at
Yeah.
some large corporation. This guy apparently invested time, knew every employee's first name,
Wow.
made a real effort to just stop, say hello, ask how things were going, genuinely connect.
And the result?
Well, according to the source, that constant encouragement, that feeling of being seen and valued, it fostered this psychological safety, this good feeling, to the point where employees really wanted to work hard for the company.
They wanted to deliver.
Exactly. And that's the ultimate lesson here, maybe. You can't demand creativity and growth while simultaneously punishing the people who have the ideas, Clark's toxic style. It actively discourages the hard work needed, especially when you're already the most expensive player in the game.
Okay, let's zoom back in a bit, focus on the language itself, specifically those little upgrades that take your speech from just being correct, textbook correct, to sounding naturally fluent, more professional.
Right, those nuances. So first, let's look back at that time pressure thing. Instead of saying something a bit stiff, like, the CEO will be here soon, what's the more natural, dynamic phrase they used?
The CEO will be here any minute.
Exactly. Be here any minute. It just hits harder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Conveys that urgency, that imminent arrival much better.
Definitely. And we touched on this earlier, but that word choice in strategic discussions really matters. Choosing consider instead of just think about.
Yeah, it instantly adds that layer of formality, of seriousness, gives your proposals more strategic weight. You're not just casually musing, you're professionally considering options.
Right. And finally, let's revisit Clark's big flip-flop. From bad idea to...
Brilliant idea.
Yeah, brilliant idea. Now, great idea is fine, obviously. We say it all the time.
Sure.
But using brilliant, especially in that context, it just gives the concept more punch, more power. It signals immediate, maybe even slightly over-the-top, enthusiastic approval.
It does. That slight upgrade in vocabulary can give your communication more impact,
Which?
as we saw with Clark. Well, Sometimes how you say it and when you say it matters almost as much as the idea itself.
Especially when you're talking to the boss. Professional fluency isn't just about grammar. It's using language to signal confidence, authority, strategic thinking. Hashtag tag outro.
So we've covered quite a bit today, haven't we? Pulled apart strategy, leadership, language, all from this one intense fictional meeting. We saw that key tactical difference between a short-term promotion to drive volume versus that bigger permanent price restructuring aimed at matching the competitors. And we definitely saw the high cost of a bad manager, like Clark. How his own insecurity just stifled the very solutions the team needed. He was demanding answers while shutting down the people giving them.
Absolutely. But maybe the ultimate takeaway from this deep dive, the thing to really chew on, is about power and hierarchy. Think about it. The 2-for-1 promotion, it was a clear, concrete solution, but it was dismissed as a bad idea.
Until the CEO liked it.
Exactly. The instant Mr. Swan gave it even mild approval, it magically became a brilliant idea. So the question maybe for you, the listener, to consider is this. In your own high-stakes work environment, what really carries more weight? Is it the actual strategic quality of an idea? Or is it knowing, politically, whose approval that idea already has? Something to mull over until our next deep dive.